All right, good morning and welcome to this live training session. Please, if you are just joining us, kindly indicate and share the live so that more people will see the live and join us. So this tutorial is going to be on corporate trouser. Now, I know a lot of people are having issues on how to draft a perfect corporate trouser. In as much as I have made several videos on the drafting, but then I decided to come live to show us or to teach us how to do this effectively as well. So if you are watching me, kindly indicate and tell me where you're watching me from. All right, so here we have Mrs. Nightmare Nigeria. You are highly welcome. Share the live. Share the live so more people can see it and join us. So this will be one of the best tutorials you'll ever see on the internet. So if you are having issues on corporate trouser drafting, this video might be your last bus stop to learn how to draft corporate trousers. So before we proceed, the number of yards we need or we are going to be using will be a 1.5 yards, or some persons can decide to get 1 yard and 3/4, 1 yard, one trouser length and half, as the case may be. So now, when we have, decided or gotten to know the yardage we need, then you arrange your fabric. Make sure you iron out all the rumples on your fabric. Don't allow any rumple to be seen on your fabric. It is going to be making you to make mistakes or have issues in your drafting. So once you have ironed out the rumples, then you get this design curve. I have shown us or made a review on this initially or previously. So this helps us to get a perfect baseline and sidelines, so that you don't have issues with your work. So here, I am going to place this way and get a perfect connection from here to this very point, this way. Then it goes all through this way as well. Then after this, I can now make use of my long ruler to complete the line this way. So your lining or the line you are going to mark is of great essence, that you should not joke with it, because it serves as the base of every drafting or marking you are going to be making in this in your outfit, right? So it serves as the base for everything. So having marked out the baselines, the next you will do here is to mark your 2 inches for your sewing, for your hemming, what they call hemming allowance. You mark 2 inches right there for the folding or hemming. Then connect the line all through this way. So here we are having the baseline properly marked out, and then you are going to apply the length of your trouser. So the trouser length I want to use is a length of 42.5. Now, in my previous videos I made, some persons do ask me, why don't I deduct the band measurement in the trouser length? But the answer to this is that if you slant your waistline by 1/2 inch, the length has reduced with 1/2 inch. And you also make provision to join the band with half an inch as well. The length have further reduced to another half. That's 1 inch in total. So the band measurement is 1/4, which is coming back to replace all the deductions that you have made by slanting and the joining allowance of the band. So you don't need to deduct the band anymore, right? So here we mark 42.5, which is what I want to use for my length of trouser, 42.5, just like this, 42.5. Then after this, the next you are going to do here is to connect this line all the way to this very point, and then you tend to get your crotch depth. So how do you get your crotch depth? From the value of your hip measurement divided by 4. Then some persons ask me, what if the hip was not given? How do you handle it? And I replied by saying that the difference between your waist and your hip is at the range of 7 inches to 9 inches and above. So that means even if the hip was not given to you, if your customer has sent their measurement and you are working with the measurement, but the hip was not given, and you want to really get the hip, what you need to do is to add either 7 inches, 8 inches, or 9 inches to the value of the waist to get your hip. Now, alternatively, if your hip was not given, the best way as well to get your hip measurement is to divide the lap measurement by 2 and multiply by 4. So that gives you the lap, the hip measurement. So here we mark 12 inches, which is our hip value by 4. That's now for the crotch. We are marking 12 inches. So now you connect the lines all through in this form. So this is how it will be like. And after this, the next you will do now is to get your knee line. That's your knee circumference, right? So the knee circumference we are going to get here will be a knee of measuring the crotch depth. You deduct a certain inch from the ankle distance. Let me show everything here so that the video will be fully covered. All right, the waistline is showing now. So let me reduce this to somewhere of this nature so that you don't miss any part of it. Okay. Now the hem is here. The video cannot cover the hem, but you can still understand that the hem is here. So now what I'm trying to do here is that for us to get the knee line, we are going to measure from the crotch depth to the 2 inches we added on the hem. That's these 2 inches here. That's 2 inches we added on the hem. So we measure from the crotch depth from here to this point. This gives us 30.5. So divide the distance into 2. That's 15.25. Then subtract 3. That's 12.25. I can just pick 12. I can ignore the 2.25. That's the 1/4. It is not significant in such cases. In this same case, right? So here you extend the line to this point as well. So once this line has been extended to this point, now the next thing you are going to work on now is to start applying your measurements, your vertical, your horizontal measurements as well. Now here, hip is 48, you divide by 4, that's 12, you mark 12 inches here, and then add extra 2 inches here. That is a total of 14 has been marked on this crotch depth. So the next thing you're going to do here is to get the midpoint of this distance. Now, the midpoint of this distance is very important because you are going to have what they call the grain line or the gradient line or the plumb line. This line you are getting is that line that divides the trouser panel into two equal parts. So here we are going to mark the middle of 14, that's 7, right? So here, then transfer the same value to the knee point, that's 7 as well, and then transfer as well to the ankle, that is 7 inches as well. So when you have marked out this whole 7, then you connect these lines with what they call a disjointed line. Disjointed lines are lines that are not connected, but they are going on the same direction. You know, it's kind of a temporary mark. It doesn't show like a much needed marking. So once you have gotten to that point, the next thing you are going to do is to, get the knee measurement. So the knee we have here is a knee of 19. So divide 19 by 2, that is a 9.5. You go further again, divide by 2 again, that is a 4 3/4, right? So here you mark 4 3/4 from the that grain line, 4 3/4 this way, and then 4 3/4 this way. That is a 19 knee measurement. Now the ankle is 15. 15 divided by 2 is 7.5. Then you also divide by 2 again. That is 3 3/4. So here you mark 3 3/4, and here you mark 3 3/4 as well. And then you are going to extend this line to come up a bit this way. You extend the ankle line as well to come up as well in this form. And after which you come to your waistline. So the waist measurement we are going to have here is a waist of 38. So I have to drag this down so you get to see the waistline I am trying to apply. So here the waistline is 38 inches waistline. And then after you have gotten this point, so you mark 38, which is 9.5 this way, 9.5 this way, and then you mark here, and here you add extra 1 inch to your waistline of your clients. So after you have gotten to mark all of this, now the next thing you are going to do is to start joining the lines. So you are going to join the 1 inch you have on your waistline to your crotch hip line. That is this point. You join it in this form. And then after which you are going to use your trouser curve, place this way, make a curve that connects this with a curve to the line that came down from the waistline to the key point. And after which we are going to slant or slope the front panel by 1/2 inch. That is 0.5. You mark 0.5 in this form. Then use your hip curve and then slant it somewhere to the midpoint. Then pocket depth is 7.5. You can use 7 or 8, but it's within 7 to 8. Then pocket width here is 2.5. So once you have gotten to this point, if you're hearing me, just say yes, you're hearing me. I don't know why I'm feeling that this life is not going well. But if you can see me clearly or hear what I'm saying clearly, kindly indicate that you are hearing me clearly. I don't know if the network is bad. All right, so now once you have gotten to these points that we have, you know, then you start joining. So how do you join? Let me drag this down a bit so you get to see my connections, what it looks like. All right. So we are joining. Now, please observe carefully the connection pattern, how I am going to connect. Observe carefully. Observe carefully. Then, when you are joining this to the crotch, to the hip points, when you get to halfway, you are going to turn this over this other way around and then blend it this way so that it doesn't give you that tight effect somewhere here. And then you go ahead, connect the extra 2 inches on the crotch, which is here, to your knee measurement. So it goes in this form. It goes in this form, and then bring it down all through to this very point and connect this way as well. So once you have done that, now the front panel of your trouser is done. Then we are going to cut out this, and then we now start doing our back panel. So also learn that in cutting as well, you tend to cut from back of the chalk so that you don't reduce the drafting measurements which you have marked out. So this is it. So you just make sure you cut all of this. You cut all of this. You cut all of this. So now the front panel has been perfectly cut out. Now the next we are going to do now is to cut or to draft the back panel. So all you need to do is just to drag the fabric down this way, and then you place this as well. So I think where we have much concern to make is on the west region and on the back crotch area. So for this particular drafting, we are making it to be a corporate trouser, right? Like having a perfect corporate finishing. So I am going to focus the video more on the back crotch area. So you tend to see what I am doing at that point. So I will bring the phone closer so you tend to see what I'm doing at this point. So what you need to do here is to bring out the line on the crotch. Now the trick is that the line that is meant to come out on this back crotch, for perfection's sake, it should not be straight. It should be 3/4 inch or 1/2 inch slanted this way. The back crotch line should not go straight. It should drop to accommodate the hip region, right? So here you mark 2 inches this way. If you have extra large clients, you can mark 2.5 here. So you are going to mark 2 inches all through this point all through to the hem, 2 inches all through to the hem. So once you mark 2 inches all through to the hem, you connect from here to this point, connect from here to this point, connect them in twos. Don't be in a haste, so connect all of them at once. Connect them in twos, and after you have done that, now you have to extend the back waistline by either 2 inches as well or 1.5. So I like using 1.5 because if you do 2 inches at the waist point, you will see trim before you pipe your before you sew your trouser. So here you take this and connect them in this form. So you see the essence of these tools. They are very, very essential that you can get them, and it will enhance your drafting skill. Even if you are doing freehand pattern making, cutting, you still need them. So here you mark 2 inches for the back waist raising, and the raising should not be straight as well. It should be a bit curvy, so that it can sit properly at the back waistline. So this is what you need to do on your back waistline, right? So after you have gotten to know this, then the next you will do now is to cut all of this, to this point. So these pieces that are coming out are for pocket facing and the rest of it. So you cut all through to these very points. Then you cut as well. So these shapes coming out are very, very important, that you also need to bring them out. They'll be used in the trouser components and the drafting processes, right, and the sewing processes. So here you adjust this, then you're going to raise this up from here and cut it out. So from next year, I'll be introducing to you guys a new method or a new pattern of trouser drafting that will still serve us or give us a more perfect and more fitted or more finishing. For some of us who are into corporate trouser and corporate shirt making, so the way you draft your regular senator trousers might not be the same. So you need to be more detailed whenever you are making for a corporate pant for your clients. So I will be making that tutorial from next year, God's willing. Once God grants us life and health, I will make that video for us to be available on the channel. So here you notch the pocket, and then you start, you cut out the band. So the band here now is also a very important aspect of your drafting or your sewing. So you need to make sure you have a fresh straight line, that will serve for the band. So you mark out your baselines. Now remember that the band, when you are cutting it out, the measurement you are using here is not the final measurement that will be used on when you are fixing it. So, most people mistake when I say 2.5 they feel that the 2.5 I said is the whole of the band. No, the 2.5 I said is for the cutting sake. When you are done cutting, you still fold. So at the end of the day, you are going to have one quarter at your finishing. So here you mark 2.5. This is for the band drafting. 2.5. You connect the lines all through this way. You mark 2.5 here as well. You mark 2.5 here as well. So here you cut it out. So you cut it out. So the band has been cut out. So the band length must be equal or bigger from your waist measurements plus extra 7 inches. So this is what we have. So the next here we are going to cut out here would be for the plackets, for the welt pocket placket. So the measurement we are using here is 3 inches or 3.5 inches. Let's do 3 inches width. 3 inches width by 7 to 8 inches for the welt pocket placket. 7 to 8 inches. So this is where it falls. So connect from here all through. So this is what we have. Then you cut this out. So this is the back welt pocket placket. So the next you are going to cut will be your belt loop, 1.5 inches width by length of 24. 6 inches, 6 loops makes a trouser, and each loop is each loop is 4 inches times 4 is 24. So here is 25, so it will be enough. So the flap and the pocket facing has already been cut out while we are drafting the trouser. So here, once you are done with your trouser drafting, always form a habit of getting a tiny pieces and tie it up, because if you don't tie it up, these components will miss and you end up looking for them. So just get the pieces like a pieces like this, and then all the components that you have drafted out. Bear in mind that the zip fly and the pocket facing are inside already, so they are here. Remember, so this area, see them, so they are here already. So I can still trim them further if I want to, to give me the exact of what I will use. So for the zip fly, I am using 3 inches width by length of 9 to 11. So here is 3 inches. I will trim it out when I am fixing. So this is 11. So for the pocket facing as well, I will use a width of 4 inches width, 4 inches width by length of 11. So right, so this is, I think it's okay by me. I will just cut out more from here. So that is for the component. So now you put them inside the trouser just like this. Make sure everything is properly placed. Fold like 3 times, and then you tie it. So if you have derived any knowledge or value from this video, kindly comment, share, like, and subscribe to my channel if you have not done so. Thanks for watching, guys. See you guys on the next one. Bye bye for now.